Safety Monthly Public Safety Committee meeting for December. My name is Erin Feely Nahum, and I am one of the chairs. Shirley Coley is not on yet. I should probably try to give her a call in a few minutes after we start to begin to see what's happening. She may have, I don't know. So Rick, do you want to introduce yourself and we'll just go from there?
My name is Rick O'Connor, and I publish the Roosevelt Islander online news website.
I'm Nina Lublin. I'm going to be a 40-year resident of Roosevelt Island next March. Woo. And I'm the president of the Roosevelt Island Jewish congregation. And in our own quiet way, we will wish you all a very happy Hanukkah. I've got my menorah behind me, but I will I'm very bad at manipulating my devices, but my menorah is behind me and all lit. We had our very quiet Hanukkah party last night with about 40 people. So we, the other group does it out on the lawn. We did it outside last year. It was actually very nice. But yeah, I'm here 40 years.
Wow, you're one of the founders. One of the founders.
No, I'm considered a newcomer. The people who came in 1976 through 1978 or 9, those are the pioneers. I, who came in 83, I'm still considered a newcomer.
Well, I'd hate to say what the rest of them are considered. Okay, Kevin
Hi.
Brown or Bojana, either one.
Bojana, ladies first.
Bojana, go ahead.
Thank you. It's actually Boyana, like
Boyana.
The J is like a Y. Good evening, everybody. Boyana Zezhel. I have been a resident for 24 years, so I have nothing on Nina. But again, it's almost quarter of a century. So yeah, this is my first time. I was given the link by Rosanna Ceruti, and really appreciate the chance to share the concern I have with Chief Brown and this forum. So when the time for that comes, I will speak. And happy Hanukkah to all who celebrate, and holiday season to everybody. I just had so much cake this afternoon. I'm not really feeling all that. That's the time of the year, I think, when we can do that.
Well, that's why New Year's comes and you can like swear that you won't eat anything else.
Yeah, right. For the first 6 days. I know.
Okay, Ike, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Ike. Mazel tov to Nina. Greetings from the Borscht Belt up here. And my name is Ike. I'm active in the Public Safety Committee, and happy holidays to everybody.
And you're up, Kevin.
Hi, good evening. My name is Kevin Brown, Chief Kevin Brown, from the Roosevelt Island Public Safety Department. I have been the chief for 3 years and working for the Public Safety Department for the past 6 years. I'm very happy to be here. This is a great place to work, a great place, a great island. I love the tradition. I love the 40-year residents, the 24-year residents, and all of the residents. They keep me busy, but that's my job, and I appreciate the opportunity to work on Roosevelt Island.
You too could become a resident.
Oh no, I can't.
His wife would never approve.
Do any of the public safety officers or staff live on the island?
We can't live on the island.
Who says?
Okay.
We're not allowed to live on the island.
Who says?
Where does it
that?
say that?
Just for the Public Safety Department.
Oh,
Interesting. But that's a RIOC policy?
That's a RIOC policy.
Interesting. That's interesting. I mean, I can understand as far as it's interesting because Charlene at one point when Andrew was first well, go ahead. Frank, I see you're here. You want to introduce yourself? We're just about to start. You're just in time.
Hey, it's Frank Ferrance from Island House. I'm also the RIRA secretary and chair of the emergency committee in RIRA. And I was curious, I came in when you were saying something about there's an existing policy, and I had one item for the agenda, which I could not send to you because it involved photos. I was on a device. I could not do that. So
Okay, well, Boyana also has something, so we'll get to new business after Kevin's report.
Okay.
And I can always screen the share the screen if I'm able to do it. We're going to try to keep the meeting for an hour so everybody during this holiday season can nurse their stomachs and go home and relax.
dust their stomachs. I'm trying to
Oh,
visualize that.
Frank, do you want to compete? How many years have you been here?
In on the island, 43, and in RIRA 26.
So you're a founder? Is he one of the pioneers?
Frank, this is Nina. This would make you more of a pioneer as opposed to me, who came in 83 and I'm still considered a newcomer.
That's what she was, introduced herself as a newcomer, and we all had to laugh. So, okay, Frank, as
I
the
think the exact
pioneer.
title is no, it's for our generation, which is not the same as the people 20 years older who came at that time. They were the pioneers. We are the originals. That's how we self-name.
Were you born here? No.
No, I came here when I was 21
Okay.
and
Okay,
hanging
so
out at the youth center.
well, let's move on then. Go ahead, Kevin. Let's
All
begin.
right. Well, I like this. Just welcome to everyone. Good evening and happy holidays to all. One of my main focuses is that we have a safe holiday season on the island, that all of the residents not only are safe, but the perception and reality of safety is my number one goal. So, you know, we've had a good year at public safety. We've had, the officers have been safe, which is one of my number one priorities. The residents have, we've had what I would like to count a stellar crime rate. Our crime is down on the island as opposed to other places in New York City. But I always say this, with crime being down, then we have to look at a lot of the quality of life issues, or a lot of the petty things that are going on. So, you know, I have my officers in tune with that. But like I said, you know, our number one priority is safety for all of the residents, and making sure that especially during this holiday season, that my officers are visible, that my officers are responding to any and all emergencies and or, you know, non-emergency incidents when residents call. We are filled with non-emergencies that we do respond to on a daily basis, and we are happy and able to do that. A couple of things that the public safety did just in the last few weeks. We had the tree lighting ceremony on the Rivercross lawn, which went very well. My public safety officers, again, we are out in full force to ensure the safety of all of the island residents. On Wednesday, we are co-sponsoring a toy drive for the youth on Roosevelt Island with the Roosevelt Island Youth Center and a couple of other participants. A well run toy drive that was sponsored by our youth center director, Anna Medina. She does a phenomenal job, and it is partnering with her has been one of the highlights of public safety. We partnered with her for our youth back to school book bag giveaway, which was a fantastic event, and we will continue to do that. She relies on me to make sure that the events are safe, and I rely on her to make sure that the events are well organized and that we are driving home the message that we are here at RIOC and that we are responsive and that we will continue to meet the needs of the community. And of course, you know, with Christmas, Hanukkah, we will continue to be out in full force. Our crime statistics, I like to say this, as I look at it, we had, as far as our major crimes, we had 0 major crimes in the month of November. I just like to, one of the things I tell the deputy Amoroso is that we take a lot of credit for that. We don't, you know, my officers are out 24/7. But not only are they out, they are visible and responsive. I think that as part of community policing, that it's not luck, but it is good fortune that we had 0 crimes in the month of November. I don't think that many communities can say that. It is something that we have to be proud of, that we do a really good job. However, for the year, our crime for the year is up 4 crimes over last year, but our driving force in crimes, as it has been for this year,
Girl,
for
where are
last
you?
year, is our assault
Oh,
crimes.
okay, well, we have a
But for the
meeting
year,
tonight.
in to date, we've had 17 felony assaults.
If you're not well, but come in, because we're,
Erin, you may want to
I'm
mute.
sorry, I thought I was muted. I'm getting Shirley, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kevin,
Oh.
forgive.
No worries. We had 17 felony assaults on the island for the year, as opposed to last 2 years ago, we had 8. So, you know, that number just keeps on climbing. Some of the issues are at 460 Main Street, where we've had a number of assaults in that area. We have a foot patrol at that area all day, most of the night. But we have to continue to work hard on that area. Our other thorn in our side that has been there for us is the shoplifting at Duane Reade Walgreens. And that is a petty larceny crime, but we had 11 in the month, actually 13 in the month of November. 13, and we made 2 arrests. Some of the shoplifters are repeat offenders. We've talked to the management at Duane Reade. Our foot post is not exclusively for Duane Reade, but our foot post is in that area because that person, goes back and forth between 460, between the train station, outside of the train station, and Duane Reade. But we've had 13 petty larcenies from one store in the month of November, and we've made 2 arrests. That is a high number between the felony assault and the petty larceny. I am focusing a lot of our energy and attention to that area. As far as the other crimes, as I said, we had 0 of these crimes in November, and all the other crimes, they're very low for the year. For the year, crimes, grand larcenies, we had 3 grand larceny autos. We've had 4 grand larceny cars stolen. We had 2 burglaries and 3 robberies, and those are the numbers for the year of 2022. But we have work to do. Even though I like to say, and I'll say it 1,000 more times, that this is a very, very, very safe community. But we will continue to work hard to make it even safer. That is my goal, going into 2023, is somehow get a handle on the issues surrounding 460 Main Street. One of the things, and I see that's later on in our update, but working with RIOC, Mr. Haynes, he worked in prior housing. He came up with an idea, and we're working along with Hudson Related, and his focus is to. I talked to him about issues that I had previously at NYPD, where we had problematic locations, and one of the theories and especially in community policing, is that you cannot arrest your way out of all situations. That sometimes you need some type of outside intervention. And Mr. Haynes has called in social service agencies to give us a hand down at 460 Main Street to direct some of the attention to the problematic issues and offering the people down there social services. We're working along with the building, but that is what we intend to do going forward. I told him, I said, having a police officer down there arresting, the problems are not going away, that we're just putting a Band-Aid on it by just having police interaction with the residents, that there are other underlying issues that are going on. So, in the community policing model, a lot of times you have to look at other issues that are driving what is the main issue down there. So Mr. Haynes, he came up with this, called the social service agencies, and we're working together in trying to get a handle on 460 Main Street. As far as, where am I at? Should I give you a chance to
Sorry, just
comment?
one interruption. What
Go ahead.
does calling social service means? So what did Mr. Haynes or President Haynes decide to do? Are you putting a social worker there? Are
Social
you-
worker.
So You're asking the city to give you one, or you're hiring one, or the building is
we're
hiring
getting a
one to
state
provide
agency.
benefits, or?
State agencies, Department of Social Service, they are coming in to give us a hand with 460 Main Street.
So they'll be sending a social worker or a
Social workers.
caseworker, like to
Yes.
mediate or offer counseling
Well,
or give people
Well,
benefits.
they want,
whatever.
there are people down there with different issues.
Okay.
So they have to get to some of the mental health issues,
Mhm.
some of the other issues that are going on that are not necessarily police issues.
Right.
So that is one of their focuses.
I had suggested, I think that's a good idea, and I had suggested it, but so they're going to the New York Department of Social Services is going to offer you somebody. You don't have to pay for it.
Yes.
They're just going to
No.
bring somebody in?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption.
No
wanted
worries at
clarity.
all. Well, he was in a meeting with Hudson Related and myself, and that was one of the first things that they said. We have this building that we have residents that came from different areas, different backgrounds, different issues, and no one is really looking at the issues. They just dropped them in there and told them to live happily ever after.
Right. It seems like
so-
the building. Frank has his hand up. Do you mind? Is this in
Sure.
reference to what Kevin is saying, Frank?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Do you mind if Frank asks you a question
Sure,
now, Kevin?
not at
I'm
all.
sorry to interrupt again. Okay, go ahead, Frank.
I guess it has to do with the state coming in. First of all, I'm glad that public safety and RIOC has been responsive to this. I know we suggested this, something like this last time. I think one of the things that may lead to better success on this is that you are using a state agency here because you have control and direct connection to making that happen. And I think that is a faster solution to addressing the problem. So I know it's too early to ask, but maybe, at the next meeting, you could give us some status on how well that's working, about the same, better, or not so good compared to the city agencies, which I know you have a lot of experience with. Thank you.
Sure, Frank, definitely. I will continue to, 460 Main Street was not going away. I will definitely continue to update the committee and they have their own committee down there at 460. And also NYPD has been very responsive as far as taking a step back on arrest and more of trying to get into their building, get into their community and have issues kind of being talked around so that they could do more than just arrest people. They have two officers who are assigned to the two new officers who are assigned to this area. And, you know, they have been very responsive. I can go into, you know, into some of the other things that, you know, parking summonses. I see next on the list is our parking and traffic safety, loading and unloading. You know, you know, Main Street remains, well, before I go into that, I think I mentioned at the last meeting that with our director of capital planning, that they are conducting this rehabilitation study and analysis of the entire Main Street. So signage goes into there, the traffic flow, the roadways, fixing the roadways, how they want to redesign Main Street. I think, and Nina could speak to this, 40 years ago, the roadways were not as crowded and congested as they are today.
Yeah, because you couldn't park on Main Street
And they changed
without
those
a
rules.
permit.
They changed those rules, and now we have cars, trucks. You know, I do hear the bicycle, the e-bike complaint. You know, it's not a complaint that is not only germane to Roosevelt Island. I think that we have a better handle, which is not the greatest handle, on the bicycle and the e-bikes than if you go out into New York City on any day. You know, the e-bikes are going up and down the wrong way on every street in Manhattan. And you know, we are out there. We do see it. My officers, you know, these bikes, they are traveling, you know, at a high rate of speed. You know, a lot of it is, you know, when we look at these issues, you know, the people there, they're breaking our street rules and disobeying traffic regulations. We write summonses. The delivery people, we've gone to the locations where these delivery people originate from. We've written summonses. We've threatened to take away their bikes. You know, this is a challenge that we are, you know, we're not going to put it behind us, that we are going to continue to just get out there and you know, and I don't even say do the best job that we can. We have to do a better job. So, you know, one of the things that we will focus on, you know, when it comes back around to springtime, because in the wintertime, it usually generally does go down. But as soon as the first inkling of spring, the bikes are back out in full force. You have a question, Nina?
Yeah, Chief Brown, Kevin, listen, I appreciate seeing public safety staff outside in a variety of places between 595 and 501 Main Street. However, and it's winter, it's cold. Nobody wants to go out to get their food. They want to have everything delivered. So the proliferation of e-bikes, scooters, delivery cars is going to just increase. It's not going to decrease over the winter. The cars, at least, that are delivering are somewhat mindful, but the folks on scooter and two-wheel devices, it's unrelenting. Most of the time when they are here, public safety is not in primarily where they should be, which is near the crosswalks, which is, you know, crossing the street remains a major safety hazard here, especially during the times when those delivery people are here. And you know, I don't know what else I can say about it. I know what, you know, you Anthony can deploy people, but they've got to be out there by the crosswalks at key times during the day. And they have to not be looking at their phones. And they have to really, if they have to stand in the middle of the crosswalk with, next to those stop signs that, they knock over occasionally, they have to do it. It's the only way. Luckily, nobody has been hit by anything lately, but that's going to change. The second thing is about the delivery trucks. Sunday morning at 7:30 in the morning, which is not a high traffic time here on the island. Those of us who were coming back from running our errands couldn't get off, or it was Saturday morning, I don't remember which at this point. We couldn't get off the bus in front of the deli at 575 because there was an appliance truck parked in the bus stop with the driver was missing. Public safety eventually ambled over, and after I said something, they started writing a summons. But I shouldn't have to, with my shopping cart, get off in the middle of the street because the bus can't pull up. And those things are still very challenging. The other thing is, I'm going to ask again. I asked this a couple of months ago. On the peak delivery days over by Rivercross, when there are 2 or 3 trucks parked in a row, or double parked, I should say, public safety is present, but maybe on certain delivery days, there should be no parking in front of Rivercross so that trucks can pull right up to the curb and not block the street and cause major safety hazards with other trucks having to pass them. Traffic builds up, backs up in all directions. We can do better.
That's an interesting suggestion. I wonder how the community would, I think it's a good suggestion, how the community would respond. Has that happened in the old days? You said there were permits to park, but if they had days or hours, are there specific hours also that you see an increase that Kevin's people could be more aware? Is it dinner or times where?
Well, Thursdays and Fridays is where a lot of the Thursday and Fridays, like from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. is really bad. And, other parts of the city, ban parking at certain times for street cleaning. But when you have double parked trucks, and only one lane to get around them, and sometimes public safety people are there to direct traffic, sometimes they're not. Sometimes there's a backup in both directions, sometimes there isn't. Eventually somebody's going to get knocked over. Kevin, I know I've seen you and Anthony out there. I've seen some of your senior people out there, but something's got to be done.
Do you think that's something you could bring back, Chief Brown, for consideration in the whole planning process on the peak hours that they do limit the amount of parking, especially in those very tight areas? Because I know exactly what she's talking about.
Well, I can tell you
tried to squeeze through, and then the other cars are coming the other way, and to even see them if you're driving. But
one of the issues that we have with the parking, especially in that area, is that if you look at it, probably 75% of the people are handicap parking, and they do not move.
Wherever.
And they do not move. And even when we have special events, they refuse to move. So, that is one of our challenges, is that, when they design the entire parking, is that they take a lot of different issues into consideration, including delivery trucks, which is high up in one of the priorities on the list. But my people are out there. I can say that I know that they're out there. They're out there most of the time. They are. And they are out there when the trucks are delivered. They respond and they direct traffic. But this is a two-pronged issue. One of the issues is traffic safety, priority, and then the stores, they want their deliveries so that they can sell and be productive to the community. We go back and forth with them. We try to get them to, give us a schedule of their deliveries. we try to work with them as best that we can. But we still get these deliveries, you know, unscheduled or unannounced, and we have to do something with them. It's hard to tell a business to tell their trucks that they cannot deliver all of their goods and services for the community. So we have to try to work with
But
them.
it might be a good idea at some point, and then I'm gonna go quiet, for the commercial people, including Foodtown, I might add, where delivery is also a safety hazard. And perhaps with the vendors, with their delivery people, and maybe with, somebody from the management of some of the residential buildings, particularly my building, and maybe across the street at, forgive me, Eastwood, it'll always be Eastwood to me, about doing something, because I think this is a problem that can eventually get managed before somebody gets hit by a car, or as the other morning, before somebody actually gets out of their car because they were blocked in because they couldn't get out of their parking space. And there was a little confrontation and there was nobody around except the truck driver, his vehicle, and the occupant of the car who could not get out of their parking space. So we can do better.
Kevin, with the handicap parking, the incentive, it's still free for people who have handicap vehicles. Do they know that? Is there any education? The other thing I always thought is it seems harder for the handicap to park in Motorgate with the bus no longer being able to do that loop. It used to be much easier if they parked in Motorgate, they could come right downstairs in the elevator and they could wait and they could get on the red bus and go wherever they needed to go home, which may make them park, less often in front of the buildings, which not only takes up a spot, but, it's taking up a spot which could possibly be utilized differently. Is there any way to try to get that word out? Do you think there's anything that we could do about the handicap parking? That's part of the problem.
We will not give up on directing the handicap parkers into the Motorgate, but it has been a challenge. We've talked to the residents. Because we have all of that information. When we really need cars moved, we've done a number of things, but we will not give up on getting them into Motorgate, which is actually a better parking spot for them. But they would rather park on Main Street.
Well, I'm trying to see how it would be easier, because the ease is if you're handicapped, you park right in front of where you live, you go right in stairs. They have to get from Motorgate to wherever they're going. So how can we improve the ease of being able to do that? Does the parking, the turnaround, is that it better to open that back up where they can come right downstairs? Is there a shuttle?
That turnaround will be
try
part
to
of the
look at
traffic
it.
study. That turnaround will be a part of the traffic study, because
hope
that
so.
turnaround with the bus not going through there predates me, but I've heard
It's
a
because
number of
somebody
times that
got-
yes, it was an
But it
accident
was
over
one
there.
time, and it was
Yes.
not only the bus's fault. No offense to the person who ended up hitting the bus or getting hurt, but it was actually
Yes.
useful to have it there. It was covered, and I think people preferred being able to utilize it to get the bus.
That will be part of the traffic study. The bus route on Main Street, and even the bus stops, the different, where should the bus actually stop? That will be part of our traffic study, and hopefully
Right.
it'll be done sooner than later and more quicker than it has been in
I hope so.
the
That's,
past.
I was going to ask you for a time frame, but I'm afraid to. Frank, your hand is up.
Yes, this concerns the turnaround, and you've heard me before tirelessly. I spoke to one to believe all of those buses can go around and make the turn, and it's anyone with a CL driver, that's every bus driver, should be able to do that. The issue was putting aside the accident. The ongoing issue that Cy said was that the front right corner of the bus, which is off the ground, goes over the curb. And it's making that sharp left turn, and you'll see there's yellow paint there, and they were concerned that as it's going curb, it might hit into someone. You know, this I'm sure this can be easily fixed, but this, I would say, for a handicapped person, believe it or not, you know, with a injury, you know, I'm to that.
You're breaking up, Frank. We can't really, I didn't get that last sentence at all.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand.
I would say that the issue with the stop there is that right now for people who are handicapped, going over the 10 River Road, there's no good place to carry your stuff and no good place to stay. Whereas the motorgate atrium was always suitable. That's a good reason for saying, you know what, I don't want to deal with that. I'm just going to park in front of my building.
Right.
And by changing that, we'd have something, you know, to offer people to change their behavior back to something that makes less use of, you know, handicapped parkers just parking there.
I agree. I've always advocated for it.
Well, temporarily, I will bring that up to Cy as part of my follow-up report.
Thank you.
And see what is it feasible? Is it feasible to reinstitute the red bus in the turnaround and go from there? He will be, you know, ask and give his input on this.
Okay, and so, you know, we're just trying to find solutions because it really is a nightmare. And I know you guys are out there most of the time, but Nina is correct that it can be quite dangerous. So it's a hard fix. It's a hard fix.
So let's moving forward, trying to move forward. Our signage, it is in the hands of our capital planning and project. But for the most part, we have updated a number of temporary fixes for signs. One of the residents at a few meetings ago, probably 6 or 7 meetings ago, we went out there and we saw some signs that just were improper, signs that needed updated, especially one-way signs, signs on the west side of Main Street, coming down from the subway to Blackwell turnaround. We updated a few signs over there. The new building number 9 is going up. So, you know, that is going to bring in, you know, a different issues over there with signage and different parking situations, and, you know, the construction that will be taking place for the next 18 months to 24 months. So, you know, the traffic, the signs, we will have to prepare for that. When they built building number 8, I thought that it was a very good operation, and we're hoping to repeat that same type of operation down for building number 9. Our vertical patrols, they remain consistent. For Roosevelt Landing, we had 442 verticals performed, which is about what we do every month. I have to direct and I mandate that we keep and step up the patrols at the motor gate, especially at late nights. People coming out of the motor gate, walking from motor gate to their homes. We have to make sure that it is safe in that building, the safe parking. We had a couple of issues down there with a couple of cars broken into, but and we made a few arrests previously, but for the most part, you know, motorgate and, you know, remains a priority. One other place, again, in 460 Main Street, we did 131 verticals for the month in that building, that's a single building. And we're going to continue to do the verticals of that building, work with the doormen, door stops, and keeping, some of the issues at hand, and just try to stay on top of the issues of the day. Where am I?
Kevin, can you, I'm sorry, just, are the problems at 460 still the same problems that have been discussed previously? Are there any new problems?
No, the same problems. The residents, we get a number of disputes, a number of loud noise. It's more of the residents, they're having a tough time living with each other. They're doing as many things to annoy and harass each other, that I have not seen this except for in some of the places that I worked at NYPD, where the residents refuse to just get along with each other. At every turn, they harass each other. They do all of the things to annoy each other, as loud music, smoking in the buildings, just, these verbal disputes. Excuse me?
Banging on each other's doors.
Yes, banging on each other's doors,
running.
things. And it's not children who are doing this.
Oh.
Some of the issues down there, and to compound that, a number of the residents who are down there who are the brunt of this harassment are residents who move from other places on Roosevelt Island to move to those buildings, and it's a nightmare for some of them. Some of them, they have order protections against each other. It is a challenge down there, but we have partners, like I said, with NYPD, we are bringing in the Department of Social Services, and we're going to try not to arrest our way out of this situation, and try to provide services that people desperately need down there. Because I've spoken to some of the people down there, and I'm no doctor, but I think that they need to speak to some type of social worker.
Well, that's a good idea when people don't know, when they're new to living in places. It's like from shelters and things, it's very good to have services at hand. That's what many people do who have buildings that are, like this.
Yes.
Well, the Department of Mental Health and the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, which is a city agency, does have some very good contractors out there who do, who work with residential communities, and people who have been, who come from very different backgrounds into common housing. So the other group that, might be willing to talk to us or talk to you is from, I don't know what she's calling it right now. It's Common Ground. And one of the directors is, her last name is Rosen. She's the daughter of people who lived here on Roosevelt Island. Brenda Rose. Thank you. Brenda's lived here for a very long time with her family. She's been working in housing for as long as we can remember. She has brought incredibly diverse groups of people into buildings and made it work. She, a phone call to a former resident, an off the record, not an off the record, but, a phone call saying, people are talking about your work and maybe you can suggest something. I'm sure Brenda would be happy to help out.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's a second resource beside the state.
I just looked in, there was a message in the chat about do the toys donated to the youth center go to Roosevelt Island kids, or do they go all over the city? The toys donated to Roosevelt Island Youth Center go to the kids at the youth center. Whoever are kids who are signed up at the youth center, they service those kids. uh,
So what age group are we talking about?
from whoever are the kids that go to the youth center,
So
whatever the
it's
age
3 or
group is
4.
at the
How
youth
old now
center.
can the youth center?
At what
Maybe
age does the youth center start
Start.
serving kids? 5 or
Yeah.
6 or older?
3, 4.
I'm not 100% sure. I would have to bring it. I can ask the director
Anna
of the youth
Medina.
center, but I think that it's the kids at the youth center and their family members. So because I did see some toys set aside for very young kids. So
Okay.
there may be a kid at the youth center who has a sibling who is either younger or older, and they have age groups for all the toys.
For what it's worth, there are probably families that are not connected to the youth center, but might benefit by receiving something.
Well, we did,
The listserv for island kids includes families of all ages, incomes, and backgrounds. There are 700 families or so on that mailing list. Perhaps Anna and the team and you guys could, figure out if there are other families that, might not get caught
well,
by the
I
youth
think
center.
I think that she did enlist Wendy Hurst from the
Pantry.
food
Disabled
pantry.
Association.
Yes, and she did get a list of
That would
families
make
who
sense.
Okay,
That would make sense.
who
Those are
will be
people who are
serviced.
really in need.
yes,
great. That's good.
More
Thank
so
you.
than necessarily.
and we will be giving away those toys on Wednesday evening.
Okay.
I talked about 460.
Ava,
Our staff. I'd like to say, that our staff is at 100%, but it's hard to be at 100% at all times because we have different people coming and going. Right now we are at 47 officers, 47 of our 51 staff members. 21 of our officers are special patrol officers, which means that they can make arrests and that they can write summonses.
all certified now, right? All
yes.
certified.
Yes, 21.
Okay.
And we have 20 who are awaiting their certification. All of our officers have their,
7 who haven't done certification yet.
yes, that's it. Just seven, seven
great.
officers. And we're in the process of hiring 4 more officers to bring them up. But as we hire 4 officers, I'm hearing that 2 of my officers will be going to NYPD on January 17th.
Oh,
So that is,
It's happening.
you
It's
know,
revolving. You gotta pay them
that
more,
is the
Kevin. You gotta pay
reality.
them more.
Excuse me.
You gotta pay them more.
that is
I know
the
RIOC doesn't wanna
reality.
hear it.
As we hire 4, 2 will be leaving.
Officers, Kevin.
Excuse me.
Excuse me, who are those officers? Can we know? Or not?
Welcome, Madam
officers?
President.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm so sorry. Excuse me.
I didn't hear the beginning.
I said
Wanted to know who are the officers that are leaving?
that
Two
we're
officers.
doing NYPD.
I wouldn't say who they are right now because they have not left.
Yeah.
I'll wait
So
till
we
they.
can't shame them into staying, you mean? Is that what you're worried about? That will tie them shackle them to the lamppost?
Well, they're 2 very good officers also.
Excuse me,
Yes, Madam Chair. Hi,
public
Co-Chair
safety is a
Shirley.
stepping stone for them to get into the NYPD. That's
Yes,
all
it
it's
is.
for. Soon
Yeah.
they all gonna be going to the NYPD.
Most of
Well,
the time
I
that
can say
does
this:
tend to
not
happen.
all of them go to NYPD. We have a few officers. We actually have 8 officers who have been here more than 20 years. Eight people who have been here more than 20 years.
right.
We have 2 who have been here 30 years.
Yeah.
So it's not for everyone. But we do hire a lot of college graduate young officers. And I know who they are because they come from mostly John Jay College. and they're college graduates, and they do apply to different police departments. Just last year, we had 2 to NYPD, 2 to the Metro Police Department in Washington, D.C., and 2 to TSA. And you know,
That's a tribute to you, though, that they're being accepted after working here. I mean, to Metro and, Washington and,
Yes,
TSA. That says something for the training that they're getting here. You should be
Yes.
proud of that, although we're not happy about it.
But can we move on?
Yes, ma'am.
yes. So,
Shirley is here and not feeling well.
that's our training.
Good, I
Uh,
just want to move on because we're talking about nothing now.
Yes. All right. So I can open it up to our new business.
Okay. Well, quality of life, anyone? Any quality of life issues? Here we go.
Yeah, I got something to
you're-
say.
Just a
Can you hear
minute.
me?
Boyano is first, and then you go, Shirley, okay?
Yes.
Okay,
Go
I
ahead.
mean, if Ms. Coley has been here longer, I would be happy to let her speak first.
No, she's the co-chair.
Okay.
She would give you
Okay.
preference.
Okay, so thank you. I mean, I'm glad for this chance, and this is a quality of life issue. Again, for those who maybe joined later, I've been a resident for 24 years now. And as of last 5 years, I've been a dog owner. And I am horrified at the amount of dog poop left all over the island. It gets particularly bad in the winter. I don't know why it looks like many dog owners think that in the winter the poop just evaporates. When I walk my dog, I keep picking up poop from, but I can't keep doing it. When I confront people who I see walking away from, after their dog poop, pretending to not notice, I've been called names, of course. I've been called a Karen. I've been called a racist if the person who didn't pick up is Black. And I also have tried to, I've come to the public safety office a few times to ask about why not more is being done. On Saturday, I spoke to an officer and I said, how many tickets have been issued, to find people who do this? And the officer said that he issued a couple. And I said, I don't think you are telling the truth. I don't think a single ticket has been issued for this purpose on Roosevelt Island. It's a matter of public record. There's no point to tell me tales. Then I went to also again on Saturday and asked for some data to the public safety office, and a very nice officer, Afghan, told me where I can find it. Eventually I spoke to Rosanna, who's my neighbor, and she suggested I come and speak here. I will just also add something. I know that people have to be caught in the act in order to be fined. So let me tell you what happened to me a few months ago. I was outside with my dog. She crouched to poop. A public safety officer was maybe 15 yards away from us. At that moment, he turned away and started to walk away. So I followed him after picking up my dog's poop and said, officer, why didn't you stay to check whether I would do what I have to do? Because it's the law and you are supposed to make sure that the law is being, followed. And he looked at me like I was speaking a foreign language, like he didn't know what I was talking about. So we have a huge issue that nothing is being done about. It's just horrible. It's disgusting. Whose responsibility is it? What can be done? Do we have to involve the media? I mean, this is beyond the pale. And I speak again as a dog owner.
All right.
Thank you.
I share your concern.
Rosanna, did you have something to say before Kevin responds?
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt Kevin, but to the question that Boyana asked, who is responsible for this? Obviously, the first responsibles are the owners of the dog, and then comes anyone else. And I am also a dog owner. I was a dog owner. I am currently.
Right, but if breaking the law means that then the first person responsible for not stopping at the crossing is the driver, but someone should be watching that the driver actually does stop.
I agree, but I'm saying answering to the first question, the first answer is obviously the owners are responsible.
It's a rhetorical question. Of course, it's the owner.
Okay, sorry.
Go ahead, Kevin.
All right. So like I was about to say, and I welcome your, your passion, and it is a responsibility of the Public Safety Department to rein this back into control. However, it is, this is I think that you answered that. We literally would have to follow dogs, watch the owner then not pick up their poop, and then we can issue them a summons. I have directed my officers that if they do see these acts, that they do write summonses. But I can just tell you some of the backlash in the community. When we were, stopping a lot of the dog owners from, dogs off the leash. I would get complaints. I would get dog owners marching into my office that my officers are harassing them for watching them with them off the leash.
They're not supposed to be off the leash.
At record numbers. And we're not going to back down from it. I'm not saying that also, but we will do a better job. We will, we do want a clean, safe island also. And we will, get out there and do the best job that we can. But then that also comes into, the dog owners, not having the dogs on the leash. Do we give them tickets for that?
Yes, and I know someone who has.
And I can tell you, as a community, that one of the things that especially with with the lowest level of incidents that we're not trying to write summonses and tickets in record numbers. We try to write summonses and tickets to correct the issue, and I will direct my officers to write as many as possible. But and I don't want to lead you down a path. We are not going to follow dog owners in record numbers. We're not going to do that.
At one point we had suggested, just to say, one point we had suggested working with the building management, right? Because there were people who they know who dogs are off the leash. They know who owners, when we had those incidents with the dog being bitten. Did we ever follow up with that and try to get some involvement from the people? I mean, is there any record of who owns what dogs in these buildings and how many dogs are allowed?
I can tell you that this was a suggestion, and this was because I have a number of dog lovers who work for public safety, and at the time, the opportune time, which is at a couple of days that we have on Roosevelt Island, like Roosevelt Island Day, when we have National Night Out, that by Inspector Suarez, she wanted to register all the dogs on the island and have a record of all of the dogs and the dog owners and get into a program of issuing them so that we know who all the dogs are on the island.
That's a good idea.
That is a couple of months away, but we are looking to move into that direction so that we won't have to guess whose dog is who, that we can then make sure that if you live on the island that your dog is registered with the Public Safety Department.
And their rabies and their distemper. Remember the time when
then,
the person walked away after biting the child?
So now, if say Bojana says that I saw a cute brown dog, at this building, we can look and we can check to see whose dog is who, and then we can kind of move in that direction of identifying whose dogs, who are the people who notoriously do not pick up their poop, and kind of like moving on that direction as opposed to following people around.
But Chief Brown, I don't understand how will tickets be issued if no one is looking. I mean, you don't follow people around. That would be ridiculous. Well, I'm saying that I had the experience when this happens under the officer's nose, literally, and he looks away on purpose. So how are your officers going to issue anything if they don't want to look at what's happening? I mean, again, this is not a rhetorical question. What is it? You said summons will be issued. By the way, why haven't any been issued by now? We've had dogs on the island for some years now. Why haven't been any? And we have had a ton of dog poop and nothing. So how is the, what will be different now?
After Chief Brown, Kevin answers that. Rick does have his hand up. Go ahead, Kevin.
What will be issued? What will
I mean,
be
I thought we
different
had
now?
issued, I thought summonses had been issued.
No,
For dog
I
poop?
can,
No.
I have not checked, but I don't recall any summonses being issued, but I have not checked to say yes or no, in, you know, in a time frame. I know that I can tell you this, that we give, and my officers give a number of warnings, and they have told people to pick up after themselves, in lieu of writing summonses.
Yes.
And, you know, we do that a number of times because, you know, most of the officers know who the dog owners are. And if they don't pick up after them, they will say, pick up after your dog, and they will comply for all of the times that they have not had any confrontations to, or have a person who says that they're not picking up after their dog.
Go ahead, Rick, and then Ike had put something in the chat, which I will read. Go ahead, Rick. You have your hand up.
Yeah, just since the Southtown Dog Run has been moved to Firefighters Field, the dogs are running all over the place unleashed. And there's been no, that I could see, no enforcement to stop them from doing that. I know,
When you say running all over the place, wait, running
No,
all over Firefighters Field?
yeah, outside of the dog run.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's
And
like they're
there's so
not
little
using the
field
dog
now.
run.
That's not good. There's so little field after they've taken so much
So, I
of it.
mean, I've seen kids playing soccer there and then some dogs were running after them. So I think now that the dog run is in Firefighters Field, some dog owners feel as though they can use the whole field.
Well, I can tell you this, one of the issues that we have dealt with was prior to the dog run being set up, that we were holding back on writing the dog owners who have their dogs off the leash down there. And I have directed my officers that if they do see dogs off the leash down at Firefighters Field, that there is no excuse that they will be summoned. So we will look into that and see why we are not summoning those people down there.
There was a period of time when the officers were, I mean, I don't think they were issuing summonses, but they were going over and telling people.
They were issuing warnings because there
Warnings.
was not an ample dog run for the people
Right, and that
going through
seemed to,
that, you know.
and that
to
had
do
But
it.
now
worked,
there is.
and that had
And now
worked.
that there is a dog run, why people have been instructed to write the people with their dogs off the leash summonses.
Okay, so now you're hearing that it's happening, you know, there's enough that the media has noticed it. Now, Ike had also mentioned on the other point, thoughts about taking pictures of, why not cameras or some other type of monitoring? Also, perhaps some media exposure and public shaming. It's also a public health issue. He also has an issue with the pigeons up over at Motorgate and cleaning that's as well. But on this, can you do something like that or no? Is it like if somebody goes through, you can't use?
No, we don't have that. That's the officer has to witness the infraction, the violation.
And also, I want to answer the chat, Erin, sorry if I can, may I?
Yes, go ahead.
Boyana just put in one of her chats that I was thinking that she agreed with Ike, and she said, I was thinking, to take pictures of the dog and put on social media. You don't want to do that, Boyana, because they can sue you for violation of privacy. You cannot do it.
She almost, and Rosanna almost was attacked once when she confronted somebody about having the dog off the leash. The other woman's child was, and she tried to just almost bit her child, and their response was to walk away. And when she tried to get, immunizations, she was,
Well, if people were behaving like this around traffic violations, we would also let them drive around like crazy. I don't understand. This is people who are not picking up after their dogs are breaking the law. There is a law and they're breaking it. And it's like, sorry, we can't do anything about it because we can't follow. the
I don't
people
think that we
angry.
said that we can't do anything about it, but traffic violations and dog poop are two different things.
They are, but both are breaking the law,
Yes.
and both about
Yes.
officers paying attention to what's going on. I
Yes,
see that Frank has.
you're
his hand up.
1000% correct. They're
Frank?
Well,
both-
can I ask a question to the chief?
And then Frank has his hand up, but go
I
ahead.
thought you had said earlier, chief, that you had seen people and you issued warnings. So if I think a couple of some media exposure and you know, some and getting letting people know that, you know, this is you know, something will be done about it, to that it could act as a deterrent. But if you've issued warnings and you witness it, I think that would be a disincentive for this to happen. But it is a public safety issue. If you witness it, then we should issue a summons and people should be fined or whatever. But I think an article, somebody should write it up. Maybe Bojana can write something along those lines and let people know that we're expecting community pressure, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Frank, your hand is up.
Yes, I just wanted to be clear, taking a picture in the
You're breaking up.
public-
We're breaking up. Impossible
Yeah.
to hear.
It's hard to hear you, Frank.
take care of anything, taking a picture of anything in public space is not a violation of privacy. However, taking a picture of someone's child can cause problems. Even though you might be legally permitted to do it, you should avoid that. And posting pictures of children who are identified will get you in trouble.
Okay. Shirley?
Oh, yeah, I just wanna, when are you gonna, new business, when are you guys are gonna start talking about new business? Because there's something I want to say to Kevin.
Okay, well,
we're
we're
on
so-
that.
Yeah, we're on new business and the first question had been on this dog issue.
The
So
dog issue.
the dog issue with the increase again of excrement by the dogs and what's going to be done. I think Kevin now has heard that there's major concern. A few suggestions have been put out. I think it's time for us to be more conscious and warnings need to maybe step up into something more. Are there specific times when or places that this is happening that need to be monitored better? I know, Kevin, you were placing your people were walking in areas where where most people walked their dogs and were not picking up. Is there anything else that you can tell us or Bojana so that we have a better idea that you are confronting it or how you will confront this issue to put minds at ease that something is being done? That's what we would like to. We'd like to hear something that, you know, because I know you have a strategy. So
Yes.
if you could share it, then and understand that at this point, people are getting angry because it's worse than it's ever been. Just like now they're on the fields again. For a while, we had tamed that and it was, you know, warnings were given. There wasn't a dog run. There's a dog run now. You know, we got to pull it back in again.
And
there's just too many dogs.
You're 100% correct. We did, as far as, you know, like
And
Bojana
then
had said,
Shirley, you're up.
dogs off the leash and dog poop are apples and oranges, but they are still from the same dog issue. And one of the things that we must go forward with is writing summonses in the community, which, like I said, as far as community policing, that summonses are not necessarily always the best solution.
Right.
A lot of the times, the best solution is education, but you know, as you know, Bojana has said that this issue is at the top of her list and quality of life issues, and we'll take a better look at this. We'll you know, one and admonishing a number of residents with the dog issue. Like I said, it did work. But like she said, I have not taken a survey around the island to see how much dog poop is out there. But you know, I will direct our attention to better look into this issue.
And one mention, it's never good for a resident to confront another. We've had
No, it's
major
not.
issues with that, but at the same time, if you say something to somebody and they threaten you, right? If she's in a situation and they start calling her this or that, and you know, they're aggressive to her, does she have any recourse to come to public safety and say this
Yeah,
person
she can
is
always-
doing
she
X,
can
Y, and
always
Z,
come
and
to
this
public-
happened to me?
She can
I mean, what
always
does-
come to public safety. She can always come to public safety and state whatever the issue had been. And we will take up each and every issue. But we don't want our residents again going after each other, especially for, you know, for the level
Right.
of this issue.
You have to be careful, because just like they're calling you, you know, we've seen situations which are not good, and you know, someone tried to take a picture of somebody, and then that aggravated the situation more, and then suddenly the guy is running after the person to get the camera, and you know, it
And they will tell you, don't take picture of me, you are violating my privacy. If they tell you, don't take a picture of me, you cannot take a picture of them, even
know,
if
so
it's
you,
a public area.
even
So
if you have to go and find a public safety officer, or you have to call public safety. I mean, what if she calls public safety, gives a description of the dog? It's no good, right? Because you didn't see it, Kevin?
Excuse me?
If she's like in a confrontation, she sees the dog is pooping, she's standing there, the owner is still walking up and down, they've left the stuff there. If she finds an officer or calls and tells that this just happened, even though she's eyewitnessed it, you can't do anything because you didn't witness it.
Yes,
It's like,
it's only a violation. We have to witness
Exactly.
it.
No, but
Okay.
you cannot do, I've done it. You cannot do anything because you haven't seen, I mean, the officer
Yeah.
hasn't seen it.
so again, public pressure, you know, on responsibility, community responsibility, education. We should have something, Rick, in the blog, you know, public safety. Maybe we can do something, you know, as RIRA on education. It was like we did with the marijuana thing one year. We put signs up. Some people thought they were silly, but you know, the idea was to educate people on the effect it has on other people within the community. Would you want your son to have to like smell weed, you know, when he comes out of school, you know, these kind of things. So maybe we can think of some kind of educational campaign, posters, signs that make people aware of what this means to other people. You being too lazy to pick it up means my kid, you know, can't walk safely on the fields, can't, you know, maybe we can do something of that sort. We should consider that, Rosanna, if there's something that RIRA can do as an educational type of campaign.
I think that we need to repeat ourselves about the building management and landlords,
That
because
too.
there are regulations on their properties, for instance, okay, not to public property, but on their properties. Each building has actually to abide to those regulations. And if there is the bad guy, and we have many on the island who don't pick up after their dogs, the landlords slash management slash real estate realtors, whoever is running the building, must clean up after the dogs and after those bad owners, and the managements are not doing
In
that.
front of their buildings, right? They have to clean the street. So Kevin, is there anything, I mean,
We'll
that's the
work
other
with-
thing.
we'll-
Are they
we
cleaning in
will-
front of
we
their
will
streets
work-
and shoveling the snow?
We will work with the buildings.
Yeah.
We will get out. We
Right.
I think last year around the same time, we sent out a number of
Yeah, that's a
flyers
good idea,
about
Rosanna.
picking up your poop. We'll
No, but
we'll
that's a
re-
very good point, because they don't clean up in front of the buildings. You see trash now all the time, even in front of the school. You know, it never used to be dirty. They're all responsible to keep their sidewalks clean.
we'll reissue this. We have a number of these, you know, a couple of community residents have submitted stuff to us, and we'll get this back out there. We'll get this back as a priority for public safety, and you know,
Thank you.
we'll be able to report on this in the next meeting.
Thank you. Shirley, you're up, girl. Thank you, Kevin. We appreciate it. And we hope to have progress on it, and we'll go back and take a look next month. You'll be here, Bojana, right? Right? You'll come next month and we'll.
I
we'll
am
hear
I
the
am away
progress.
for the first two. I'm away for the first 2 weeks of January. Afterwards, I'm here, and I was
Third
just
week.
about to quickly type up. I think we need a joint campaign between the community and public safety, and maybe
And the
another
buil-
organization.
And the buildings. Let's get the
Yeah,
buildings
yeah,
involved.
but we have to make people more aware that they can't get away with this. People do
I
things
agree.
because they can get away with them, and that has to stop.
Well, people have to understand, though, the effect it has on the rest of the community. That's really, I mean, I'm sorry, you can be solipsistic, but on Roosevelt Island, it is a community. It's a small place. It's not like living on 77th Street, where it could be any 10,000 people, come on. It's a small area, and they're lucky to have dogs. People did not have dogs here for many, many years, which,
That's right.
no offense, I
That's right.
have cats and I was grateful for it.
Excellent.
Okay, Shirley, you're on, girl. What's the issue?
Well, the new gym, I want to ask Kevin, can you see cameras in the gym, the new gym that we have?
That's
Yeah.
that's Roosevelt Landing's gym.
Okay,
That's not our gym at all.
okay, well, then they're gonna have trouble in there. I can see that. I was down there today. And you're not supposed to open that back door for anybody, but they're doing it. So I'm gonna get in touch with the new property manager and let them know, listen, you gotta do something about the back door, because we gotta come in with the chip. We have to use the chip to come in, and we have to use the chip to get in the gym.
The
Where
fob?
the equipments are. But now people are opening the back door for people who don't even live here.
Right.
And so that's gonna be another problem. I can see it.
That has been a major issue with Roosevelt Landings for years, is the damn doors and people not doing it, and public safety, having to monitor. Again, no security still in
No.
Roosevelt Landings, I mean,
Nobody's gonna be in that gym room to do anything. So anything can come in there who can get in there. I have to use the chip to get in. But you have people somehow to get in there. I don't know how they finding their way, but they finding their way in there.
and they're
And
not,
I'll
they're not building residents.
I definitely will send a message to Doreen and their staff tomorrow morning about the issues with the new gym.
Thank you.
Yes, and they're not supposed to bring food in there, but they're bringing food in there. They're not doing anything. There's gonna be a hangout place. It's terrible.
Well,
They
I
put
think that,
nice stuff
well,
up.
they
And
need
Roosevelt
to-
Landings
I mean,
doesn't
if
put
they
cameras,
opened up a gym, they should have a staff there.
right,
to
or a
monitor.
camera or something.
I mean,
Yes.
you don't open up Planet Fitness and tell people just come and go as you please.
And the
I-
back door opens, it's not locked because you can't
And-
lock it because it's in,
Well, yes, it's locked from the outside, but people who get in will open it
No,
from
that's
the
what I
inside.
mean. It can't be locked if it's an egress out of the building for fire safety, but otherwise, or it should have an alarm on it so people can't just open it. I mean, or they have to have some,
That's right. They should have something there to
remote
indicate
camera.
that you just can't open that door unless there is a fire, you know?
Yeah,
So
an
that's,
alarm, even if it had an alarm that goes off and then has to be turned off and reset. I don't know what it's like, but okay, Kevin, you'll follow up on that?
Yes, I will follow up with the.
Thank you.
okay,
Frank, I
thank you,
think this
Kevin.
is an old hand, right? Your hand is still up. This is not a new hand, is it?
My hand, no.
No, I meant Frank's hand.
I can't undo it.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, all right then. Any other issues? I think we didn't do the hour we had hoped, but it was a
I
lively
had
discussion.
an issue.
Okay. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, Frank, you did. What's up?
Real
Last
quick.
issue, and it's now coming on an hour and a half, so don't feel any pressure, but know that everyone wants to go.
Okay, this is gonna be easy. Okay, first of all, I almost hit someone the other day, going through the 625 crosswalk.
Lighting?
They were wearing all black. It was rainy. It was really dark. And I didn't hit them as in like I got within, let's say, 10 feet of them as they were crossing, but it was too close for my comfort because, you know, I just didn't see them at all. And so I went back and looked at the intersection. It's lit very poorly. I've been getting the facts. You know, I did a survey on this a bunch of years ago, like 2013 or 14. What's different now is the lights on most of the cars are like those tungsten lights. And so there's a much brighter light. And so I got photos of what it looks like with opposing traffic, without opposing traffic, rain and all of that. But I used to complain mostly about by Food Town, that crosswalk, but the 625 crosswalk also has a problem. And I think everything in between there, that whole Motorgate, you know, whatever, Helix complex, you know, is bad on both sides. So anyway, I reported it, you know, the near miss to public safety, and they said they were going to raise it to the chief and such, but just letting you know, we need to do something about that.
So Chief, I have to say that the new markings on the street, even the like the stop and, you know, no U-turns are great. I can see the difference in some of the signage that you were speaking of, but this is a concern. So if you could highlight that to
Yes, I'll
planning.
definitely.
The lighting has always been an issue, and that's a very scary thing. It is difficult, especially, I'm surprised, but you know, I now have reflective collars on my animals. I have reflective things, you know, on coats when they can have them, but many people wear black, and it has to be lit. And I don't know if they'll ever consider it, but there are lit crosswalks that we've discussed in the past, where when people are going across it, lights up, whether it's on the ground or something else. They're, you know, if they're going to do something, it may be a good idea to consider.
I know that that's part of their traffic study.
Yeah.
And they were even, you know, the stop signs that have the lights that
Yeah.
on the stop sign. That was one of the things as a temporary fix that they were looking into. So I'll follow up with that and see where we are with that.
That would be great. And hopefully, this has been a very productive meeting, I think. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming and sharing concerns. Thank you, Kevin, again, for all you guys do to keep us safe. It's truly appreciated. We are the safest community in New York City, I really think. Yes, we have a lot of issues since the pandemic with all these cars, and the whole setup of the island is not easy. Traffic is always a major concern. I know that you've put a lot of effort into it. Things have, it's not out of your hands, but you know, these trucks,
Yes.
it's crazy. I mean, I've seen it in, you know, during the day, it's can be a madhouse, but thank you for all you try to do to keep us safe.
Can I get 10 seconds more? Just the line striping is not the issue. It's really you need overhead lighting. The pedestrians need to be lit up.
We
So I can
got you,
talk to
Frank.
about that later.
Frank, we're on top of it. I talked to capital planning last week about this.
Okay, good. Okay, well, if you need a study, Frank has it. And I'm sure he's
Alright.
got a study
No,
and a
well,
study
well,
after that, and a
temporarily, a
study after
temporary
that
fix.
study.
We talked about the lighting. You know, there are a number of places that we, myself and the deputy, where we walk and we talk about the lighting issues on the island.
Right. Well, you do. You need to, especially Food Town. The ones that we've all discussed before are bad. But that's a new one in front of 625. That's scary because that's right in the middle of things.
Well, it was, you know, the conditions were
Rainy,
yes,
bad. Yeah, but they are going to be.
yes.
So, all right. Thank you, everybody.
All right,
Thank you,
well, have a
Kevin. It's late.
happy holiday, everyone.
Thank
Happy
you for bearing
holidays.
with us.
And we be safe and have a great holiday season.
Okay, we'll
Okay.
see you next year.
And
All
Take
right.
care.
so,
All right,
John,
bye.
if you want, try to get your email to me. Mine is
I will.
may see it. So I
Rosanna
can,
can connect us, right, Rosanna?
Yes.
Thank you, Rosanna.
all
Thank
righty.
you,
Thank you
everybody.
so much. Shirley,
care.
feel
Bye.
better. Bye,
Okay,
Madam
good night.
President. Frank. Media, you see what you need to write about? Make
Always.
sure.
Don't worry, I'll get my study out soon, but it puts in more precision. I didn't want to take up too much time. I know everyone wants to go.
All
Thanks
right,
so much.
appreciate it, Frank. Always appreciate your studies. Thank you so much.
Great job, everyone. Thanks.
All right, ciao, bye-bye. Thank you.